I killed my husband with a single phone call. Not literally, God.
No.
I'm no monster, but in the cold calculus of revenge, that late-night ringtone was the bullet that ended him. It came at 2:17 a.m., slicing through the silence of my cramped apartment like a siren's wail. The kind that drags you from the edge of sleep into a nightmare you can't wake from. The caller ID flashed unknown, but I knew. Deep down, in that gut twist of intuition honed by years of betrayal, I knew it was the unraveling of everything I'd buried. My name's Maya Reynolds, and back then, I was the queen of my own little empire in Seattle's tech boom, running a boutique financial advisory firm that catered to the freshly minted millionaires flooding in from Silicon Valley's spillover. Picture it: rain-slicked streets, coffee shops buzzing with baristas slinging oat milk lattes to hoodie-wearing coders, and me in the middle, crisp suits and sharper advice, turning whispers of stock tips into fortunes. I'd built it from nothing after my folks kicked the bucket in a car wreck when I was 22, leaving me with a stack of medical bills and a toddler son, Ethan, who became my North Star. We were the American dream incarnate. Single mom makes good, adopts a rescue mutt named Jax, volunteers at the local food bank on Sundays. Until the dream curdled. It started with Richard. God. Richard. We met at a networking mixer in Belltown. Him all charm and cologne. A venture capitalist with eyes like polished obsidian and a laugh that could disarm a room. He swept in like a Pacific storm, promising stability.
Partnership.
We married in a backyard ceremony under evergreens. Ethan as ring bearer in a tiny tux that made my heart ache with how fast he was growing. Richard folded into our lives seamlessly, bringing his Rolodex of high rollers and his knack for schmoozing. Our firm, Reynolds and Hale Advisors, exploded. Clients poured in, tech bros, biotech whizzes, even a few NBA retirees looking to stash their endorsement cash. We bought a Craftsman in Capitol Hill, the kind with gingerbread trim and a porch swing where I'd rock Ethan to sleep on stormy nights. But Richard had secrets, the kind that fester like mold in a damp basement. I didn't see them at first.
Who would?
He was the perfect facade, coaching Ethan's Little League team, grilling salmon on the 4th of July, whispering, "I love you," in that gravelly voice that still sends shivers down my spine. It was the little things that nagged, the late nights at client dinners, the encrypted app on his phone he dismissed as work stuff. Then came the discrepancies. A wire transfer here, a phantom expense there. I chalked it up to growing pains, hired an accountant to audit. That's when the feds knocked. They came on a Tuesday, badges gleaming under the fluorescence of our office, hauling away servers and shredding my Rolodex on the spot. Tax evasion, money laundering, the works. Richard? Nowhere to be found. He'd ghosted, leaving a suicide note on the kitchen counter, pills, and a bottle of scotch. Poetic as hell, implicating me as the mastermind. Maya handled the books, it read. She knew everything.
Lies.
All of it. But the evidence was damning. Forged signatures. Backdated ledgers. My name on every shell company. I was the fall guy. The devoted wife who'd signed whatever he slid under my nose during bedtime stories with Ethan. The trial was a circus. Seattle's Alt Weekly splashed my mug on the front page. Tech queen or tax cheat? Pundits on local radio debated if I was a feminist icon railroaded by the patriarchy or a greedy enabler of white-collar crime. Ethan, 13 and gangly, sat in the back row every day, his eyes hollowed out like he'd aged a decade overnight. "It's gonna be okay, Mom," he'd whisper, squeezing my hand under the table. But it wasn't. The judge, a stone-faced woman with a rep for throwing the book at fraudsters, sentenced me to 8 years at Purdy Women's Correctional, a low-slung fortress of regret an hour north of the city. Richard's body washed up in Puget Sound a week later. Ruled a drowning. Case closed,
They said.
justice served. Parole came after 4, on good behavior, and a plea from Ethan's school counselor about the boy's deteriorating mental health. I walked out into a world that had moved on without me. Ethan, now 17.
Tallérdame.
With Richard's jawline and my stubborn streak. He'd been shuttled to Richard's sister in Tacoma, a chain-smoking realtor who fed him microwave dinners and screen time. Our house, auctioned off to pay fines. The firm,
Dissolved.
clients scattered like roaches. I crashed at a halfway house in Pioneer Square, slinging barista shifts for minimum wage, scraping pennies for a studio walk-up. Nights were the worst, staring at the ceiling, replaying the trial, the note, the splash of Richard's suicide. Was it guilt? Or just another con? That's when the phone rang. 2:17 a.m. Screen glowing like a ghost. I fumbled for it, heart hammering. Hello.
Maya?
It's Victor Lang. Don't hang up. Victor, my old mentor, the grizzled ex-Wall Street wolf who taught me the ropes back in the day. Retired now, holed up in a Bellevue condo with a Scotch habit and a Rolodex longer than my rap sheet. Victor, it's the middle of the, listen. Don't discuss this with your son. Not a word. Promise me. My blood went cold. Ethan was asleep in the next room. Or so I thought. Our reunion had him crashing on my lumpy couch, navigating this awkward limbo of parole mom and Celentine. What the hell? Vic, what's going on? He exhaled. A rattle like dry leaves. I poked around. For old time's sake. Richard didn't kill himself. Maya. And he didn't frame you out of love gone sour. It was bigger. Much bigger. The line crackled. And for a moment, I heard the rain pattering against the fire escape outside.
Sinking with a storm in my chest.
Victor spilled it all in a rush. Voice low and urgent, like he was dodging feds in his own living room. Richard hadn't drowned himself. He'd faked it. Vanished with a cool 10 mil siphon from our biggest client, a biotech startup peddling miracle cures for Big Pharma's wallet. But the real gut punch? Ethan knew. Not all of it, Vic said, but enough. Richard had groomed him. Those father-son fishing trips to the San Juans? Code for crash courses in offshore accounts and dummy core. Your boy's no saint. Maya. He signed off on a transfer once. Thought it was a game. Richard played him like a fiddle. I gripped the phone so hard the plastic creaked. Ethan. My baby.
Complicit?
It couldn't be. But Victor had docs, emails, timestamps. A blurry photo of Ethan at 15, hunched over a laptop in our den, Richard's hand on his shoulder. Why now?
I choked out.
Because I'm dying.
Kid.
Liver shot. And because you deserve the truth. Richard's alive. Spotted in Belize last month. Sipping my ties with a new face. He's rebuilding. Using your fall as his launch pad. But Ethan's the key. He's got access to the remnants. A trust fund Richard set up in his name. Sloppy. Use it. The call ended with a click, leaving me in the dark. The weight of it all crashing down like the Space Needle in an earthquake. Betrayal wasn't just Richard's anymore. It was blood deep, woven into the boy I'd kill for. Revenge? It wasn't a choice. It was oxygen. I didn't sleep. Dawn crept in gray and indifferent, painting the walls of my studio in shades of regret. Ethan stirred on the couch, rubbing sleep from his eyes. Those eyes. So like his father's, but softer. Pleading. Mom, you okay? Looked like you saw a ghost. I forced a smile. The kind that doesn't reach your eyes. Just work stuff.
Kiddo.
Go back to sleep. But as he rolled over, I stared at the family photo on my nightstand, the three of us at Golden Gardens, kites tangled in the wind, and felt the fracture lines spreading. Victor's words looped. Don't discuss with your son. Revealed everything. By noon, I was in a library cubicle, VPN routed through 3 proxies, digging like a miner in hell. Victor had emailed the files, zipped PDFs of ledgers, wire confirmations, even a grainy surveillance still from a Cayo Perico beach bar. Richard. Older. Tanned. Arm around a brunette half his age. The trust fund was real. $2.3 million. Tucked in a Cayman account. Ethan's name as beneficiary. Accessed via a biometric key fob Richard had lost years ago, now in Ethan's sock drawer.
Barbik Sintel.
My hands shook as I printed it all, stuffing the pages into a manila envelope like contraband. Ethan thought I was job hunting. I let him. That night, over takeout pad thai from the Thai spot on Yesler, I probed gentle. Remember those trips with your dad? The islands. He shrugged, chopsticks pausing midair.
Yeah.
Fishing? Mostly. Why? Just. Miss him sometimes.
Lie.
I miss the man I'd invented, not the snake. Ethan nodded, eyes flicking to his phone, always the phone now. A shield against the what-ifs. 2 weeks blurred into a haze of double shifts and midnight plotting. I hired a PI on the sly. A ex-cop named Ruiz with a bum knee and a nose for dirt. Belize is porous, he grunted over burner phones. But Hale's slippery. Got layers, fake passports, crypto wallets. Cost me every dime from tips and a pawn necklace. But worth it. Ruiz confirmed. Richard was Hale no more. Now Rick Harlan, consultant to shady startups in Central America.
And Ethan?
The kid had dipped into the trust once, $5K for a used Beamer last year. Promised it'd be ours, he'd told Ruiz's contact. A bartender in Tacoma. Dad said, wait for Mom. Wait for me. The irony burned. I'd rotted in a cell while they played house with my ruin. The plan crystallized on a ferry ride to Bainbridge. Salt wind whipping my hair as Ethan snapped selfies for his Insta. Revenge wasn't a blaze, it was a slow fuse. Step 1. Isolate. I enrolled in night classes at community college, financial forensics. Ironic as hell, claiming it for rebuilding. Ethan grumbled, but adapted, crashing with a buddy in Fremont. Step 2. Infiltrate. Ruiz fed me chords on Richard's digital footprints, LinkedIn ghosts, burner emails. I crafted a profile. Elena Voss, ex-con turned consultant, hungry for gigs in offshore compliance. Bit the bait, he couldn't resist. First contact pinged on a Friday. From a Gmail alias. Heard you're discreet. Got a proposition. Coffee in San Jose? Week from now. San Jose, Silicon Valley's belly. Crawling with marks like Richard. I booked a red-eye. Left Ethan a note. Business trip. Love you. Be good. The meet was at a Pete's in downtown. All reclaimed wood and overpriced pour-overs. I wore contacts, a wig, a pantsuit from Goodwill that screamed up and Comer. He was late, scanning the room like prey, then slid into the chair opposite. Older, sure, but the smirk was pure Richard. Elena. Sharp work on that Panama brief. We danced the small talk, me dropping breadcrumbs from Ruiz's recon. He bit hard, pitching a consult on laundering legit tech equity into agritech shells. Clean as a whistle. Buy almond milk refills. He was hooked, slipping me a flash drive, prelim docs. Mullet. I palmed it without a blink. Heart thundering under the alias. Back in Seattle. The drive yielded gold, account numbers, passphrase, a ledger tying it all to our old firm, and a folder labeled contingency, E. Emails to Ethan. Dated from the suicide. Son, if she gets out early, play dumb. The key's yours. We're square when you hit 18.
Groomed.
Manipulated.
My boy.
A pawn in his father's endgame. Rage boiled. But I banked it. Revenge needed precision, not fury. I wired Ruiz for phase 2, tail Richard back to Belize, plan a bug in his villa. Costly. But the trust fund skim would cover it, $10K. Untraceable via Ethan's fob. I did it at 3 a.m., screen light harsh on my face, guilt gnawing like acid. Stealing from my own son. But he stole my life first, Richard did, and Ethan enabled by silence. The flight back from San Jose felt like exhaling after holding my breath for a decade. Turbulence rattled the tray table. But inside, I was steady, steel cord. The way you'd have to be after trading silk blouses for prison khakis. Ethan picked me up at Seattle-Tacoma. His Beamer idling curbside, bass thumping from the speakers. How'd it go? He asked, merging into the snarl of I-5. Promising, I said, flashing a grin that masked the venom. New client. Big fish. He nodded, eyes on the road. But I caught the flicker, the same tell Richard had when spinning yarns. We grabbed burgers at Dick's, grease dripping perfection under the neon glow. And for a sliver of time, it was us again. Mom and son, navigating Seattle's sprawl, talking college apps and Mariner slumps. But Victor's warning echoed, don't discuss with your son. That night, alone in my studio, I cracked the flash drive's encryption with a script from a dark web forum, paranoid hours yielding fruit. Schematics unfolded, Richard's Empire 2.0. A web of NFTs and DeFi scams laundering narco cash through Belizean banks. Our old clients? Duped into investments post-trial. Their funds funneled south. And Ethan's sweet Jesus. Ethan's name peppered the margins. Beneficiary override. E. Hail. 18% equity. At 18 next month. He'd inherit not just the trust, but a slice of the syndicate. Richard's legacy. Poisoned apple and all. I paced the linoleum, Jack's whining at my feet, sensing the storm. Calling the feds crossed my mind. Anonymous tip. Watch it burn from afar. But that was justice, not revenge. Justice had failed me once, leaving me to rot while Richard sipped rum runners.
No.
This was personal. I dismantle it thread by thread, make him watch his house of cards topple, then decide if mercy was on the menu. Ruiz's update came at dawn. Bugs in. Audio crystal. Your ex is chatty. Name drops you like a ghost story. Clips attached. Richard's voice. Slurred from pina coladas. Boasting to a mark. My wife. Yeah. The fall guy. Took the heat like a champ. Kid's clueless. Thinks daddy's dead. Priceless insurance. Laughter. Tinny through the speaker. I hurled my mug at the wall, shards scattering like my sanity. Isolation ramped up. I pushed Ethan toward that Fremont buddy full-time. College prep sleepovers. I lied, wiring him cash from my skim. He resisted, voice cracking on the phone. Mom, I can help with rent. Dad left. I cut him off.
No.
Focus on you. Guilt clawed. But necessity armored me. Victor checked in weakly. Voice Frylia each time. Twist the knife slow.
Maya.
Make it hurt. Elena Voss evolved. Follow-up emails to Richard. Teasers on compliance gaps, laced with flattery. He responded voracious, proposing a virtual meet via Signal. There he was, pixelated on my laptop. Villa backdrop of turquoise waves and thatch roofs. You're gold. Elena. Ever think offshore? His eyes probed.
Hungry.
I leaned in. Cleavage strategic. Voice honeyed. All the time. Show me the play. Weeks blurred into a digital tango. He fed me scraps, blueprints for a crypto mixer tied to his agritech front. I mirrored them back. Laced with red flags, IRS audit triggers, FinCEN tripwires. Hypotheticals, I purred. He lapped it up, blind to the noose.
Meanwhile,
Ruiz tailed, Richard's routine mapped, yacht club brunches, backroom deals with suited Colombians. The brunette? His accountant, skimming her own cut. Fractures everywhere. Ethan's birthday loomed. A minefield. I threw a low-key bash at Alki Beach. Bonfire crackling against the Olympics silhouette. Hot dogs and esmores for his crew of skater kids. He hugged me fierce, whispering, "Thanks,
Mom."
for everything." His gift to me? A framed sketch of the three of us. Pre-fall, kites at Golden Gardens. I nearly broke then. Tears hot, but swallowed them. That night, post-party, he cornered me in the kitchen. I know about the trust. Dad told me. Before. Time froze. Rain drummed the roof. A Pacific Northwest requiem. What trust? I played dumb. Heart jackhammering. He fidgeted, avoiding my gaze. The one he set up. For college. Said not to tell you, said you'd worry. Lie layered on lie. Victor's photo flashed, Ethan at the laptop. He made me promise.
Mom.
It was just signatures. I was a kid. 15. Old enough to question. Young enough to trust. And the car? I pressed. Voice steel. His face crumpled. I needed it. For job interviews. Dad said it'd be fine. Sobs racked him, and I pulled him close, rocking like I had at 5 with nightmares. But inside, the calculus shifted. Complicit? Yes, but coerced.
Groomed.
My rage forked toward Richard, the puppeteer, and now a sliver toward Ethan, for the silence that cost me years. Don't tell anyone, I murmured, echoing Victor. We'll handle it. Together.
Lie.
The seed of doubt rooted. But revenge demanded solitude. Phase 3 ignited on a whim, or so it felt. Richard's next pitch, fly to Belize? Seal the deal in person. I countered. Nassau first. Neutral ground.
He bit.
Ego stroked. Flights booked. Alias airtight. Ethan dropped me at the airport with a fist bump. Score big.
Mom.
Irony. Thy name is fate. Nassau hit like a fever dream, turquoise shallows lapping pastel hotels. Air thick with salt and sunscreen. I checked into a boutique on Cable Beach. Room with balcony views of cruise ships disgorging tourists. Richard arrived day 2. All aloha shirt and aviators. Meeting me at a harborside bar where conch fritters steamed and steel drums thrummed. Elena, he drawled, air kissing my cheek, close enough to smell the familiar aftershave. A gut punch. You clean up nice. We talk shop over daiquiris. His mixer? My fixes. He probed personal. Husband? Kids. And I spun a yarn of divorce. A daughter in boarding school. Lies on lies. The foundation of us. By sunset, he was hooked, inviting me to Belize for the real tour. I demurred, teasing. That night, in my room, I synced the bug's latest, him on the phone, raging to the brunette. Elena's onto something. But trust? Hell no. Like with Maya, too close. Burns you. Burns you. The words fueled the fire. I emailed Ruiz. Accelerate. Plant the tracker on his yacht. Back stateside. The net tightened. Ethan's texts piled up, worried. Probing. Miss you. When home, I replied breezy. But Victor's health tanked. A hospice call confirmed stage 4. Weeks left. Finish it, he rasped. For both of us. The flip came subtle. Richard's email sharpened. Questions laced with suspicion. That Panama brief, where'd you source it? I gaslit smooth. But Ruiz warned. He's lawyering up. Scented blood. Time to pull the ripcord. I crafted the bomb. An anonymous packet to his Nassau contact, a rival consultant, full of his ledgers. Timestamps linking to narco wires. Competition intel, the note read. Copy to FinCN, redacted just enough. Then, the personal twist, a burner call to Richard. Voice distorted. Rick Harlan, your wife's coming for you. Elena's a ghost. Ask about Purdy. Panic rippled his replies. Frantic. Fragmented. Who is this? What do you want? I ghosted, letting it simmer. Ethan confronted on my return. Airport pickup turning inquisition.
Mom.
You're different. What's the trust really for? His eyes. Pleading. I cracked then. Partial truth spilling. Your dad. He hurt us. Bad. I need to fix it. He paled, whispering, I knew some. He made me swear. The fracture widened love and loathing.
Twinned.
Revenge's arc bent toward climax. Ruiz's tale, Richard fleeing Belize. Yacht sold hasty. Heading stateside via Mexico. Paranoid, Ruiz chuckled. Thinks feds or cartel.
Good.
Let him run. I prepped the endgame. A meet in neutral turf, Vancouver. Border blur. Elena dangled one last lure. Final pitch. Your villa. Bring the docs. He agreed. Desperate. But the real hook?
Ethan.
I confided selective, enough to arm him. Not in rage. Help me end this. For us. He nodded. Fire in his eyes. Richard's fire. But mine too. Father and son. Colliding. Vancouver's rain mirrored Seattle's, relentless. Biblical. Turning the streets into mirror-shine black. I crossed the border in a rental Civic. Plates from Ruiz's chop shop. Elena, passport stamped without a hitch. Ethan stayed south, monitoring from a coffee shop VPN. Our lifeline, I encrypted chat. Love you. Be safe. His words anchored me, a reminder that not all inheritance was tainted. Richard's villa squatted on West Vancouver's cliffs, a modernist glass box cantilevered over the Strait of Georgia, waves crashing 100 feet below like applause for the damned. I arrived dusk, wipers slapping, nerves electric. He greeted me at the door, disheveled, unshaven. The charm cracked like old plaster. Elena. Or should I say, no accusation, just weariness. The bug had caught his unraveling, calls to fixers, bribes to silence the Nassau leak. We toured the space, open plans sterile, Balinese teak and abstract nudes on the walls, him pitching frantic, me nodding sage. The mixer's viable, I lied, but plug the Cayman gap. Over Malbec in the great room. Fire crackling. He probed deeper. You remind me of someone.
X.
Sharp. Unforgiving. His eyes searched mine. A flicker of recognition? I held steady. Contacts itching. The turn came post-dinner, grilled octopus from a private chef. Ironic delicacy. He poured seconds. Voice slurring. Ever lose everything? I did. Wife framed me, tax bullshit. Faked my death to start over. Bullshit. The audacity ignited me. But I played along. Sounds brutal. Kids. A shadow crossed his face.
1. Boy. He's
Complicated. Thinks I'm dead. Better that way.
lie.
Ethan was the tether. The loose end. I excused to the powder room, palming the USB from my clutch, Ruiz's masterpiece. A virus keyed to Richard's network. Plugged it in the den while he ranted to the chef on the phone, wiping servers remote. By dessert, key lime tart. Tart as betrayal, the trap sprung. His laptop chimed. Alerts flooding. Accounts freezing. FinCN pinging like klaxons. What the fuck? He bolted to the desk. Face ashen. I stood in the doorway, calm as a Pacific swell. Surprise. Rick. He whirled. Eyes widening, not fear, but fury. Maya? Jesus Christ. The pieces clicked for him. Elena's teases. The leaks. The ghost call. He lunged. Not violent, desperate, grabbing my arms.
How?
The trial, you were clean. I made sure. You made sure I took the fall. I wrenched free. Voice ice. 8 years. Richard. Ethan grew up without a mom because you played God with our lives. He staggered back, collapsing into a leather chair, hands raking his hair. It wasn't personal. The startup, they were dirty. Cartel ties. I had to pivot. You were the face. Maya. Safer. Safer for you. The words hung, heavy as the rain-lashed windows. Outside, thunder rolled, lightning strobing his defeat. I pulled the printed emails, Ethan's signatures, the grooming notes, slamming them on the coffee table. And him? Your insurance? You turned our son into an accomplice. His laugh was bitter. Broken. He wanted in. Smart kid. I taught him the game, better than your drudgery audits. Deflection. Classic Richard. But cracks showed, tremors in his hands. Sweat beading despite the chill. The confrontation stretched. A verbal cage match. He pleaded love. Once, regret. Maybe survival. Always. We can fix this. The remnants split 3 ways. Family again. Temptation whispered. The money. The absolution. Picture it, us 3. Mended. Jetting to Maui. Ethan acing Stanford on clean funds. But Victor's rasp echoed. Make it hurt.
No.
I circled the room. Deliberate. You don't get redemption. You get exposure. My phone buzzed. Ethan. Feeds live. He's crumbling. I'd looped him in. Audio streaming. Cruel? Maybe.
Cathartic?
Undeniably. Richard's flip was lightning, from supplicant to serpent. You think you're clean? Ethan's dipped deeper than you know. That Beamer? Tip of the iceberg. He hacked our old servers last year. Funneled $20K to his friends. Little hustles. Blood tells. Maya. Doubt stabbed.
Fresh.
Ethan. My anchor. Corrupt too? The room spun. Fire popping like gunfire. Lies. I snarled. But he laughed. Pulling his phone. Screenshots. Transfers from Ethan's IP. Crypto wallets in his handle. Check the blockchain. Kids got your fire. My balls. I did. Quick search on my burner. Confirmations glaring. $20,000. Petty scams. But damning. The fracture in my chest widened. Betrayal tripled. Father. Son. Self. For a beat. I wavered. Join them? Or burn it all? Revenge clarified. Not destruction. But truth. I hit send on the prepped dossier, to Ethan's inbox first. Then Richard's marks. The feds. Read it. Both of you. The game's over. Richard lunged then. Real violence, hands at my throat. Eyes wild. You bitch, after everything. I twisted. Knee to groin. Prison yard basics, saving me. He crumpled.
Gasping.
I backed away. Dialing Ruiz. Extract. Now. Sirens wailed distant. My anonymous tip. Timed, perfect. Richard scrambled. Grabbing a go bag from the hall closet. This isn't done, he spat. Bolting for the garage. Tires squealed into the night. Rain swallowing him. I collapsed against the wall. Adrenaline crashing. Tears hot. Ethan called. Mom?
I saw.
The emails, God. I'm sorry.
Sobs. Raw.
Dad made it sound. Exciting. I was stupid. We all were. The line crackled. Forgiveness tentative. But the twist gnawed. His scams, were they rebellion? Or inheritance? Back in Seattle. The fallout cascaded. Feds swarmed Richard's trails. Mexico border ping. Warrant issued. His empire crumbled. Clients fleeing. Brunette vanishing. Ethan confessed piecemeal. The hacks. Born of resentment. Funding his escape dreams. Hated the pity looks at school. Wanted out. We therapy shopped. A harbor counselor in Ballard unpacking the trauma. Victor passed quietly. His obit in the Times a footnote. Pioneer of finance. I visited his grave. Whispering thanks. But peace? Elusive. Ethan's trust froze pending investigation. Innocent beneficiary. But tainted. He eyed me wary now. Trust eroded. You used me?
Mom.
In Vancouver.
Fair.
I'd weaponized his pain. Mirrored Richard's grooming. The controversy brewed online. Leaks from my dossier hit Reddit's r/true crime. Threads exploding. Wife's revenge or mutual fraud? Pundits picked sides. I was vigilante justice. Or vengeful harpy dragging a teen down. Blood family's curse. One viral post read. No heroes here. Climax loomed. Unspoken. Richard surfaced, not in cuffs, but an encrypted video to my inbox. Him in a Panama City flophouse.
Gaunt.
Pleading. Maya. Ethan's deeper than you think. He initiated the last skim, $50K. Last month. Check his laptop.
Come alone.
We end this. For him. Heart seized. Ethan. Escalating? I stalled. Rifling his room while he showered. Laptop password cracked easy.
His birthday.
Files hid in a partition. Transfers. Yes, $50K to a relief fund for immigrant kids at his school. Not scams, charity. Anonymous. Funded by Dad's lessons. Twist on twist. Ethan's rebellion was redemption. Laundering guilt into good. Or was it cover? Richard's game. Flipping loyalties eternal. I booked the flight south. Ethan none the wiser. Revenge's endgame, confrontation. Unvarnished. But whose side would I choose? Husband's ghost. Son's shadow. Or the woman forged in fire. The plane droned over the Gulf. Clouds boiling like my thoughts. Panama awaited. A humid hell of canals and cons. Richard's cords led to a cantina in Casco Viejo. Colonial decay laced with reggaeton bass. I arrived wired. Ruiz's earpiece. Feds looped but distant. Neutral.
For now.
He sat in a corner booth. Hollow-cheeked. Nursing a Balboa beer. Maya. No fight left. Just resignation. We talked hours, unspooling the marriage. The fall. The faked death. I loved you, he claimed. But the game. It consumes. Partial truth. Perhaps. Then Ethan. He reached out. 6 months back. Wanted advice. I told him walk away. He didn't listen. Liar. But doubt crept. The files, charity. Yes. But sourced from Richard's old wallet. Complicit still. The flip. Richard's eyes hardened. Test me.
Call him.
Ask about the relief fund. It's a front for my remnants. Proof? A ledger on his phone. Ethan's handle in the credits. World tilted. My son. Playing both? Or framed again? I dialed.
Speaker on.
Ethan picked up. Voice sleepy. Mom? Panama? Truth time.
Kid.
The fund. What's it really? Silence. Then flood. Dad contacted me. Said help or he'd expose us both. I rerouted, cleaned it, gave to the kids.
For you, Mom.
To make it right. Richard's face twisted, rage. Betrayal. You little shit, he snatched the phone. But I yanked it back. The cantina blurred. Patron staring. Climax fractured. No clear villain. Just mirrors of gray. Richard bolted again. Cursing, feds closing. His flip final. Ethan sobbed apologies. His loyalty mine. Twisted. Panama's heat clung like guilt as I chased Richard's shadow through Casco Viejo's labyrinth, cobblestones slick. Shadows pooling in alley mouths where hookers hawked and dealers melted into the night. My flats slapped uneven. Ruiz's voice crackling. Feds inbound. Stall. But stalling wasn't revenge. It was surrender. I cornered him at the seawall. Waves gnashing below like accusations. End it, Richard. Wind whipped my words. Salt stinging my eyes. He turned, backlit by a sodium lamp, silhouette warped. Or what? You gonna push me in? Join your conscience. Temptation flared, hands itching for that final shove, the splash erasing him like his suicide.
But no.
That was his script. Mine was exposure. Raw and relentless. Ethan's done playing. The fund?
Clean.
Your game's over. His laugh barked. Hollow. Clean? Kid's a natural. Hacked my proxy last week. Drained 10K. Thought I wouldn't notice. Proof? He thrust his phone logs. Timestamps. Ethan's IP. Irrefutable. Doubt tsunamied. Back on the plane, first class. Irony's gift. I grilled Ethan via text. The proxy. You. Dots danced eternal.
Venya.
To stop him. For us. Screenshots attached. Ethan alerting Interpol. Anonymous. Weeks prior. The drain? A freeze. Not theft. Bait to trace Richard's launders. Twist upon twist. My son. The Avenger in miniature. Flipping the board while I scripted the play. Pride swelled. Bitter with the what-ifs. What if I'd trusted sooner? What if prison hadn't scarred us triple? Seattle welcomed Gray.
A bomb.
Ethan waited at arrivals. Beamer humming. Eyes red-rimmed, but clear. We drove in silence to Discovery Park. Trails mud-slick under pines. The sound a steely expanse. There, on a driftwood bench. Truths unloaded, no filters. Just wreckage. I hated you for leaving, he admitted. Voice cracking. Dad said you chose the money. I believed him. I hated me too. Confession freed something, chains loosening. The trust?
Seized.
But restitution flowed. Clients repaid. Fines halved on Ethan's testimony. Richard? Nabbed in Costa Rica. Extradited. Trial pending. His flips? Exposed in depositions grooming Ethan. Framing me. All for the thrill of the con. The controversy raged. Court TV dissected. Family of frauds or victims of vengeance? Op-ed split. I was anti-hero mom. Empowering a teen whistleblower. Or toxic avenger. Dragging kin through hell. Ethan's school counselor penned a piece, Resilience in Ruins, sparking TEDx invites. We dodged the spotlight. But it chased. Podcasts probing. Was the son complicit or coerced? No clean lines. Richard's letters from lockup pleaded paternal love. Twisted as ever. We could have ruled. The three of us. I burned them. Ashes to the wind off Alki. Ending? Not fairy tale. Nor tragedy, liminal. Debatable. Ethan aced his G. I'd UW for Cyber SEC. Irony's full circle.
Me?
Rebuilt the firm. Solo, Reynolds Resilience Advisors. Specializing in fraud recovery. Clients, survivors like us. Piecing fortunes from fallout. Nights. Though. The phone haunts, 2:17 a.m.
Ghosts.
Victor's revelation birthed this. But Ethan's twist sustained it. Right or wrong? Reader's hell. We still argue over beers at the Pike Place Brew Pub. Was my revenge justice? Or just another con? Did I save my son? Or sculpt him in my image? Last hook, Richard's trial. Ethan testifies, flipping final. Sealing the coffin. But as he takes the stand, eyes locking mine across the courtroom, I wonder, who's the real architect? The betrayed mom? The ghost dad? Or the boy who learned to play both sides? Fade to rain on the courthouse steps. Us walking free, scarred. But standing. The American way, messy. Mended. Forever in dispute.